Hello. So, what's happening this week, or I should say the last 2 weeks? Well, not a lot and a whole lot all at the same time. All this stuff that's happening is like small potatoes. It's kind of par for the course, maybe just a little bit more extreme in one direction or another, or a little bit weird. I didn't really know what to make a video about right now because there's just like all these little things, and I got to get a video out for you all. I know you look forward to them. Well, my fans do. But welcome to my channel if you're new and you are listening to the Anti-Woke Warrior. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed and click the bell for notifications. What's the biggest things happening right now is the Haitians on the border, the Texas-Mexico border. Well, it looks like we don't really have borders anymore. So Biden has been ordered to reinstate Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. Now, I heard that the judges were fighting this, but it looks like what I'm finding on the internet here is that the judges are ordering Biden to reinstate Remain in Mexico order, which makes sense. We do need to have much more border security than we have right now. There was also the images of the border agent chasing the Haitian around on horseback, and people were saying that he's whipping the Haitian. He's not whipping the Haitian. Those are the horse's reins. He might have smacked him with the reins once. Oh my goodness, terrible. But okay, don't come to the country if you don't want to get smacked with some horse's reins. At least don't come to the country illegally if you don't want to get smacked with some horse's reins. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't know why people are upset about this. They're saying that it's a whip and they're issuing whips. No, I own a bullwhip. This is not a bullwhip. I know how bullwhips works. Bullwhips have been around for thousands of years, very long time, and this is not how you would use a bullwhip. But we have these Haitians walking back and forth between Mexico and the United States, and there are now several thousand, many thousand of them, actually probably like 15,000, living just on the U.S. side of the border because they believe that they can come into the United States, which just isn't true. You can't just come here. We're flying them back to Haiti. How are they getting from Haiti to Mexico? I mean, that's not an easy swim. We can look at the map here. That's a long ways to go. It's a long swim. If you were to sail that would take you days. I mean, if you were in a sailboat, that would take you days. So I don't know how they're getting from. They're probably flying. So they got money to fly to Mexico because it's so bad in Haiti. Why aren't they staying in Mexico? You don't get to go to the Golden Palace on the hill before you go through the village underneath the Golden Palace on the hill and work your way into the Golden Palace on the hill, right? You don't just go, oh, I'm a peasant. I'm going to go into the Golden Palace. No. You got to stop off at that village. Got to prove yourself in that village first, and then we'll let you come into the Golden Palace. Now, I want to correct what I said a moment ago about Remain in Mexico being challenged by a judge. It was Title 42 that is being challenged by a judge. So, judge orders Biden administration to stop expelling migrant families using Trump-era Title 42. What does Title 42 say? Well, we can come down here and read the article. The Title 42 is to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in holding facilities. So let's take a look at the Haitian border crisis. And you want to tell me that you're okay, Judge Sullivan, with COVID spreading through this group of people here. Now, mind you, American citizen watching this, or even if you're not an American citizen, but just support citizenship in general, American citizens have to wear masks. There's talk that American citizens will have to be vaccinated, period. No questions asked. American citizens have to shut down their businesses. Oh, but the illegal immigrants, the ones who have zero rights in this country, should have zero rights in this country, although they have more rights than I do. They can just, do whatever they want to. No, you can spread COVID. It's fine. Just bring it all, make new strains of COVID and bring them here to the country. It's great. We do not have a country anymore. These people have gone insane. Our judges don't even know how to govern the law in this country. Our president is so duplicitous, we have no idea what's actually going on inside of our own borders. This is the end is here, people. Now everybody's kind of up in arms about this Met Gala, and they're all talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and how awesome she is. I've heard a lot of people mention Elon Musk's wife and how she's got this sword that's made out of a gun. Because swords are less deadly than guns, but they are still pretty damn deadly, really. I mean, If you got a sword and your opponent doesn't have anything, you're going to win. It's that simple. If somebody comes at you with a sword, you better hope you have a way to defend yourself, whatever that way may be. And it better be really good, because that sword will do a lot of damage to you if it hits you. They're all talking about how nobody at the gala is wearing masks, but hey, Elon Musk's wife is wearing a mask. But they're pointing out that the elites aren't wearing masks, and the help is wearing a mask, because there's a two-class system here. The peasants have to wear masks, and the elites do not have to wear masks. And I've already spoken to you about the how the masks work. The cloth masks basically don't do anything. If you have a medical grade mask and it's not tightly fitted to your face, when you breathe in, it's basically not doing anything. When you breathe out, it's collecting the germs that you breathe out. So you are reducing the spread, which is good. If you have an N95 mask, that's kind of the better one, where it seals tightly on the sides around your face, so it leaves marks on your face. That's how the masks work, and that's why they keep telling us to wear masks to slow the spread. I think a lot of people are fed up with the mask stuff, so they're just not wearing masks anymore. Like, look, it didn't work. A lot of people point that out too. Look, it didn't work. It didn't stop anything. But like I've said, here I am in what is called California, right? The most progressive state in the union, supposedly. And I saw more than my fair share of people not wearing masks. I see it all the time. People not wearing masks when they're supposed to be. But people were talking about this AOC dress and how it says tax the rich, and how the person who made it is guilty of tax evasion. The seamstress is guilty of tax evasion. Not only that, but her husband is worth $100 million. And if $100 million doesn't make you rich, I don't know what does. So hypocrisy much? Not to mention the fact that the dress probably cost $10,000 to make, just because, we want to spend that much money on some shoddy piece of clothing that you're only going to use once. And everybody's taking pictures of AOC like it's so great. And I just look at it and I see hypocrisy and stupidity. It's not that I'm against taxing the rich, but the rich have tax havens. The rich know how to increase prices when their taxes go up. That's what they do. They say, oh, my taxes are going to go up by 10%. I'm just going to charge 10% more for everything that I sell. They put money in offshore accounts. They put money in the stock market where there's no taxation on capital gains, or there's much less taxation on capital gains. What infuriates me is the rich sitting on their money. I don't mind if a person has a bunch of money and they're putting it to good use, or they're saving up so that they can put it to good use. But I don't like knowing that there's a bunch of money out there that's not doing anything. It's sitting idle, not helping anybody in an economic way, or in any way, period, really. So that's what I find frustrating about the rich having money, and I think we need to find a way of ensuring that they use their money for good in the country to help stimulate the country, because we've seen that trickle-down economics does not work. That was a problem with the Republicans' approach to economics, is trickle-down economics doesn't really help most people, because the rich sit on their money instead of spending it. So we have this Gavin Newsom debacle that happened in my state here, California. I voted in the recall election. I voted Gavin Newsom out. My opinion on this is, anytime you have the opportunity to vote out a politician, do it. They're our employees. If they're not pulling their weight, if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, even if they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, keep them on their toes. Say, look, we have the right to get rid of you anytime we want to. We will not tolerate you being in office. So you want to make sure that they know that they can just be ousted anytime. Whether Gavin Newsom is great or not, doesn't matter. He's not great, by the way, because he lets people come into the country illegally, and then my taxes pay for them to exist in this country. It's ridiculous. Now, one thing that I noticed going around the city that I live in, people had signs in their front yards about stop the Republican recall. There's just a Republican plot to get rid of the Democrats. Oh, but hey, on my ballot that I voted on, that I used to vote, there were like 100 other options for candidates to vote into office, and like 50 of them were Democrat. What a concept. It's not a Republican recall. It's a recall of Gavin Newsom. But these people, they don't understand that. They think that it's all just, oh, you're on my side. You got to be in my tribe. I was getting text messages about it. They're saying, hey, vote no on recalling Gavin Newsom. So I would text back, I'm going to vote no on keeping Gavin Newsom in office. And they would say, yeah, vote no. Not reading what I had said, other than seeing the word no in there. These idiots, they don't even understand. So there, we want to keep in Gavin Newsom because the state doesn't have like tent cities all over Los Angeles. You go to Los Angeles now, it's almost a one big tent city. It's crazy. And not doing anything about that because of the corruption in the homeless coalition in Los Angeles County. My neighbor here works for the homeless coalition in this area of California. He said, yeah, it's corrupt here, but it's much worse in LA. So they're just skimming all this money, and it doesn't get to the people who need it. It gets to the people working in that department. They don't want that to go away because, hey, it's just a gravy train. Look, the more homeless we have, the more money we need. Oh, you got to keep giving us money. Super infuriating, super frustrating. I don't know what to do about it. I mean, there's nothing that I can really do about it other than complain and let everybody know on the internet that this is happening so we can fight against it. So there's apparently some sort of riot over in Australia. They said rioters dressed like construction workers were attacking the police. maybe they were just construction workers attacking the police. People are fed up with the lockdowns. They're chanting no more lockdowns. But in Australia, they actually have these camps they've set up for quarantining people. They take them to a cage. They put them in there. It's a very nice cage, but it's still a cage. They're not allowed to go out and walk around and be free. They get, they get their meals, they get their alcohol, etc. But they're not really allowed to do anything other than exist in that cage. Now, there is some sort of COVID rules at the Emmys things that happened where people are like praising the company Pfizer for its vaccine release. That was kind of interesting, watching everybody hold their hands up in a cult-like fashion. What to do about that is people wanna follow their cults, whether it's a religion or a corporate religion. Nicki Minaj was canceled for not going to the Met Gala I mentioned earlier. She said that she wouldn't get a vaccine just to go to that. She has more important things to worry about. She said that I'm not against vaccines. I would gladly get a vaccine if I had to go on tour or something, but right now I'm worried about other things than going to some sort of pointless party. So they didn't like to hear that. The woke didn't like to hear that, so they canceled her. So then there was Mark Milley, who he has come out. It's been brought to our attention that he was in collusion with China against the orders of Donald Trump. He was accused of having told Chinese officials that if there was going to be an attack on China, he would give them forewarning, which is, of course, illegal and immoral because we don't have a country anymore. We have a border where people are just coming and going as they please because nobody will build a wall, and we have a military that's like, oh yeah, it's fine. You can come in here and just do whatever you want to do. Now, this is going to hurt our country a lot because the Chinese feel like they have carte blanche to do whatever they want to. Before, they didn't know that they could do anything. They were under the impression that the U.S. might step in and stop them from doing something. That was a huge deterrent, and now it's gone. So great, yay! Thank you, Milley, for undermining U.S. authority in Asia Pacific. So I don't really think that there's anything else that I need to talk about. We all have heard this in the news. It's been talked about by a million different people. You all know what's going on. If you don't, well then welcome to the party. Now, a bit of news for me. I'm going to be becoming very busy here. The day job is getting in the way of me doing things that I want to do, or things on the side like YouTube. The book that I've written, it might be delayed. It might not come out this year because of editing. The editing is taking longer than I thought it was going to. But it's an interesting process. I'm really glad that I went down this path because I'm learning a whole lot about what it takes to write a book and put out a book. And if you don't buy my book, don't worry. I'm not going to be mad at you. We can still be friends. I know that maybe some of you aren't readers or some of you aren't into medieval fantasy, etc. That's fine. I just wanted to let you know that will become available to those people who might be interested. But before we wrap up, I do want to make sure that I ask you to click on that like button. It only takes a second, and I will see you all in the next video.